Mantis from FTL, one of the greatest and most attractive characters ever thought up. He can run at 120% base speed, take out foes with 150% damage mod, and best of all, he is green colored and knows how to handle borders. Giant alien mantises. As mentioned, they have sharp claws, acidic spit, and they live on red ships. They're coming for you and your scrap because you get more scrap if you kill the crew, and don't just blow up the ship. Mantis are a nifty species to have as crew members on your ship. They're super fast, as mentioned before, and terrifying in melee combat, making them perhaps the best shock troops in the game. Whether that's boarding or if you are boarded well, the enemy's gonna be in for a fun time if a Mantis is involved. Generally, when encountering their distinct red ships out in the wild space, they generally have lower levels of shields. However, on their larger ships they have nasty weapons, and on all of their ships they have teleporters, so that they may board your ship and engage in glorious melee combat. However, Mantis do have a big downside, and that's a 50% repair speed. So, this has led to an interesting situation where the Mantis like the Engi. They like taking them as slaves. So, generally on Mantis ships, you'll find at least one Engi crew member. This has led to a lot of bad blood between the species. Or, well, I suppose, bad battle machines. I don't know. But their dislike of each other, or rather the Engi dislike of the Mantis, can be seen in some of their events. Mantis as a species are generally opportunistic glory seekers. The hunt is all important and ritualized. Having the honor of going into a sector that is not Mantis controlled to hunt and take trophies, well, that is something to be proud of. And also a reason to attack and board any enemy ship that you come across. Now, once again, this translates to their ships. As mentioned, teleporters.
Teleporter coming right up!
And because of this, I can say they're tied for my favorite species with another. Their ships are some of my favorites in the game, because I like boarding, I like doing that. Jeepers, you get more scrap, as said. So, that won't color my opinions of them at all, I'm sure. Let's get into the ships themselves, starting with the names. The Gila monster is named after Heloderma suspectum, or Gila monsters. Venomous lizards hailing from the southwest of the United States and Serrana, Mexico. They're not really that dangerous, despite being, well, pretty venomous. And honestly, they're little sweethearts. Look at them. Very cute. The Basilisk. Named after a mythical lizard whose gaze could turn a man to stone. Not too much to say on that name, nice and simple. The Theseus. This is named after a thought experiment, the ship of Theseus. So the idea is, if you have a ship, and over time you replace every single board on that ship, right? Like you replace the mast, you replace the planks, you replace everything on that ship slowly over time, because it gets damaged or for whatever reason. By the time there are no original pieces left, is that still the same ship? Or at what point does it become a different ship? That's the long and short of it. And I'm not quite sure why this ship is named as this. It's not like its layout is the same as the prior two ships. It does have a distinct layout. I suppose its coloring is a little similar to the Basilisk. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the alternate 4-man Mantis border? It's interesting. Tell me down in the comments if you know, because I sure as hell don't. Oh, and before we get to their ship's unique gimmick, as I keep talking about, I want to introduce you to the standard ship array. This is here so I'm not too redundant. A certain comment was complaining about it. I got maybe mildly annoyed by his initial comment. But upon thinking on it, yeah, this makes it so I talk less and do less editing. So, not a bad idea. Basically, I take the Kestrel and its basic stats, and I'm going to assume that every ship has these stats. Shield 2, Engine 2, Oxygen 1, Weapons 3, Med 1, Pilot 1, Sensors 1, Doors 1, and 16 fuel. If there's any deviation from this, I'll mention it. But if I don't mention a specific system, just refer back to this. I'll have it on screen when needed. Now, every single Mantis ship has teleporters, and this allows you to send your crew members over to board enemy vessels. It's generally not a wise idea to send them into drones, as there is no oxygen on their ships and no one to beat up. You can send as much crew over as there are telepads available. And you can retrieve up to 4 crew members at a time, teleporting them back to your ship, even if, they can't fit into the room. You can teleport mind-controlled crew from a hostile ship to yours, although I've never seen if you can actually teleport them when mind-controlled over to the enemy ship. Zoltan shields will block teleportation, which is a pain, unless you get the Zoltan shield bypass augmentation. Also, cloaking will prevent hostile crew from teleporting onto or from the hostile ship. If your crew is left on an enemy ship when making an FTL jump, they're going to be lost permanently, even if you have a clone bay, which really sucks. It generally gives you a little warning, so just be a little careful with that. And also, there's quite a few teleporter blue event options, so... Oh, right, and every upgrade to the system reduces the cooldown time. So at level 1, it takes 20 seconds to cool down before being used. At level 2, 15 seconds, and at level 3, 10 seconds. Jeepers. And with that mouthful, it's time to get on to the ships themselves. Layout A. This warship is designed to enhance its crew for close combat missions. The Gila Monster. Starting crew, 3 Mantis, 1 NG. Starting reactor, 7. Notable systems. No sensors, none at all. Weapons 1, and teleporter 1. Starting weapons. Small bomb, basic laser. Starting augmentation, Mantis pheromone. And notable starting resources, 16 missiles. To unlock this ship, you need to complete the legendary thief Kazakh-Plethkelik. Jeepers, random event. Alternatively, you could defeat the Rebel flagship with the Zoltan cruiser. This ship is baby's first boarder, and it's pretty good when it comes to that. 1 NG to stay aboard and pilot the ship, and an encouragement to upgrade that teleporter with a 3 Mantis crew. And having 3 Mantis to start with is bloody brilliant, because Mantis are great at boarding. Oh, combine that with Mantis pheromones, which I haven't even talked about. Mantis pheromones increase your crew's movement speed by 25%. And with the Mantis already large movement speed bonus, well, they're gonna be zipping. I actually had a legendary run with this ship not too long ago. I had 3 NG and all the rest of the crew were Mantis. I even had the legendary thief himself, Kazakh-Plethkelik. You know his fucking name. In any case, I finally discovered what that small laser's for. If only I had it so I could blow up the rebel ship without sacrificing a Mantis. In any case, it doesn't have any sensors, which kinda sucks, but you can always guess where enemy crew are. Generally, there's gonna be 1, at the very least, in piloting or the engines. So, just teleport them in there, start doing damage. Really, I don't have too much to say on this. The Mantis ships are really about one thing, and boarding's pretty simple. Layout B. This warship encourages sending massive boarding parties and keeping strong defense. The Basilisk. Starting crew, 2 Mantis. Starting reactor, 11. Notable system differences. Shields, 4. Engine, 1. Teleporter, 1. Weapons, 1. And it's a weak system, 40 scrap to upgrade. And drones, 3. Starting drones. Boarding drone, defense drone 1. Starting augmentation, Mantis pheromones. Starting resources, 15 drone parts. To unlock Layout B, earn 2 of the 3 Mantis Cruiser achievements. Goody goody gumdrops, the first appearance of the 4-man teleporter. This is great. Being able to teleport 4 of your crew over at once into a big room means that you're going to absolutely annihilate all of the crew. If there's less than 4, well, they're fucked. And if there are 4, generally, most of them aren't Mantis. So your Mantis will pick off the crew members early and then help their fellows. Along with that, too, the drones. The defense drone is great. It pairs well with the level 2 shields to keep weapons from hitting your ship while the crew's boarding. And along with that, too, if they don't have any missiles, send the boarding drone over. It helps a lot early on, considering you only have 2 crew members total. Gives the enemies either something to distract them, or something to harass their systems and generally break them while they're busy fighting off your crew members. This ship is incredible. You can get huge, you can get large, you can get massive boarding parties late game. 4 Mantis teleporting in at once? Mwah. Oh, lovely, beautiful. That is what we want to see. Once again, this ship's nice and simple. Not much to say about it other than I love sending my guys over to the enemy. Layout C. With a large teleporter and weapons designed to impede enemy crew, this ship is deadly in the hands of a capable boarding party. Default name, the Theseus. Starting crew, 1 NG, 1 Mantis, and 1 Lanius. Starting Reactor 8. Notable starting systems. Clone of 1, replacing the med bay, Teleporter 1, and Weapons 2. Starting weapons. Crystal Lockdown Bomb, Stun Bomb. Starting augmentation, Mantis Pheromones. Starting resources, 20 missiles. To unlock this ship, reach Sector 8 with Mantis Cruiser B and Advanced Edition content enabled. This ship is interesting. Now, 4-man teleporter again is great. I don't want to wait for weapons to charge up. I want to send my crew over immediately. And the potential for that is absolutely epic. Because you have a Lanius, and that means you can do the cool boarding strat of draining oxygen. It does take a little while, even if you teleport right into their O2 area. And along with that, you want to make sure your Mantis friend doesn't die of oxygen starvation. Though if he does, you can just clone him with your level 2 clone bay. Clone him nice and quick. And if it's hit once, well, guess what? It's A-okay. He won't die. This ship's nice and nifty. Kind of a send over and forget kind of ship while you focus on the weapons. Because they're not weak, unlike the Basilisk. I'll have more to talk about with this ship in the ranking section. Speaking of the ranking section, the Gila Monster. This ship has a great starting crew. It is literally everything a Mantis ship could ask for. 3 Mantis and 1 NG. Perfect. That's great. That really encourages you to upgrade your teleporter so you can start sending more and more boarding crew over. I know it doesn't have sensors, but like I said earlier, you're gonna know they're probably gonna be in the piloting or the engine room. They're not strictly necessary, though they are nice. The weapons are subpar, and that's to be expected with any Mantis ship because they focus on boarding. Though I will say, the small bomb can be useful early game for destroying clone bays or med bays. Because, let's be honest, you're going to have a tough time destroying the ship without those destroyed. And you don't want your crew member to die, trying to take it out while fighting off an enemy. What I'm getting at, these really don't need to be that great. They can be upgraded later. And in the hands of a capable boarding party, the Gila Monster can do very, very well. So, with that in mind, I think the Gila Monster deserves a low A. Because there are better boarding ships, I'm going to be quite honest. But this one, it is solid. It is very good. The Basilisk. Alright, level 2 shields, right? And a defense drone. Nothing is going to hurt your ship for the first 2 sectors. 2 Mantis and a boarding drone. The boarding drone's great for help early game. Although, the enemy may just ignore it and go for your Mantis, so it's kind of a wasted drone part in some scenarios. But the 2 Mantis and the 4-man teleporter. This ship has great potential. I would say it has the best potential to be the greatest boarding ship in FTL. The fact that you're going to get to the point where you can send 4-man boarding parties over, and later, if you're actually insane enough to do so, 8-man boarding parties, once you get that teleporter upgraded. It does have a weakened weapon system. Fine. But boarding, that's what these ships are about. Boarding, its capacity to annihilate enemy crew. Should you get lucky enough to fill up on all Mantis, or a mix of Mantis and Rockmen. Combined with defenses, makes this an amazing ship. Probably tied for my favorite ship in the entire game. This is an easy S tier. SS, S, front of S, great ship. The Theseus. Now here's the key. You can do the cool strat of draining enemy oxygen and killing them that way, along with, punching them to death. However, Lanius are hard to get. And not to mention, most of your crew is going to die from a lack of oxygen also. Along with that, the clone bay is great. Level 2 is very good. But if it's hit and goes down, that's not good. That's priority number 1 to fix. Along with that, having your crew heal in between fights is really difficult. Level 2 helps, but unless you get like a reconstructive teleport augmentation, that's a little rough. Because you don't want to kill the Mantis after every fight, because then, he loses his combat potential. True, a lot of people just, stick him in, like, no oxygen just to finish him off so he can be back at full health, but that's very inefficient. I don't like that. And even with the NG crew member, the defense of the ship is not great, especially coming off of the amazing Basilisk, as well as its bombs. They're very situational. I hardly ever use stun bombs. I'm sure there are situations where I have used them, And the crystal lockdown bombs. They have their uses, like trapping enemy crew in rooms so they can't get to the med bay, or locking off the clone bay so your crew members can just destroy it and then puppy guard it so, they can't fix it. I generally just sell them. You need to get crew quickly with this ship. It's probably the more clunky of the Mantis ships, because of its combined traits. As with the previous ship, if you can get a large crew base, this ship can be insane. Although, compared to the Basilisk, I find that I die way more often early game with the Theseus and have to restart. However, I have had many amazing runs. I've beat the Rebel flagship probably 6 times with this ship, and probably more so with the Basilisk. See, that's the thing. I keep comparing it to the Basilisk. It will never be as good as the Basilisk. So with that, I say it's in low B tier. It has a lot of potential, but its start is definitely not as good as the other 2 Mantis ships. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. In any case, as always, I have some exciting stuff planned, so I hope to see you all in the next video